We got just a few ticks and second hand. We can get started there. No, you're right. Well, I think you confused even at this point. You was the secretary.
Oh, yeah, it'd be good to have, but I just.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this time we're going to call this special meeting of the Hill County Commissioners for the order this 6th day of September 2022. Let the record reflect, hey, this is probably the longest special meeting agenda I have ever posted in 15 years and 9 months of being here. And number 3, that we are in the Hill County Courtroom, Hill County Courthouse, the Quorum of Commissioners present established. Further, this meeting is posted in Florida Texas Government Code 551, but it is Secretary of the Meetings Act. This meeting is being both held in person. You can participate online. Has anybody signed up at 8 o'clock this morning? We've had no signatories by 8 o'clock this morning to participate and speak online. At this time, we're going to move forward. Is anybody here open forum this morning? Speak about something that's not regular. I know it looks like a regular meeting, guys, but it's a special meeting. We'll get moving on this thing. All right. If somebody thinks something they want to say later, we'll let you come back to it. All right. Number 2, discuss and approve invoices this morning. We have invoices. Oh, discuss it. Oh, we want to pay the employees now. Yes. All right. So number 1, discuss and approve wage status changes. We have wage status changes to this day. We have Aisha Rogers, who's moving on. Sheriff Department, Harlan Evans, a new hire in the jail. Welcome aboard, Mr. Evans. We have Michael Horton Halanese, who's a new hire in the jail. Congratulations, welcome aboard. Miss Amanda Miller is getting a 1-year step raise. Justin Latine is transferred from jail sergeant to patrol deputy. Oh, all right. We got Tamara Harrison in the auditor's office and Sherry Wagner in the district attorney's office. Those are the employee wage status changes for this day.
Make a motion.
Second. Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any? That's right. We're going to move forward. I'll try to stick around for signature. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in. Number 2, now we're going to move on to approve invoices. So our approval of accounts payable for this date. Bill, you received emails from the treasurer's office last week, Friday. In there is your accounts payable. Any questions regarding the accounts payable?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Okay. Motion and second. Any further discussion on the invoices? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Number 3, discuss and approve pharmacy benefits management services agreement between Integrated Prescription Management Inc. and the Hill County Indigent Healthcare. Is Mrs. Cook with us this morning yet? Not yet. No, it's okay. She don't need to be. So what this is, we have a pharmacy benefit services agreement that we've used for years. Those people are going away. We're bringing a new one in. I would like to ask you gentlemen to approve this contract contingent upon a couple of minor changes to the identification language in it. Otherwise, it's necessary thing we have to have.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Motion and second to give the county judge the authority to approve a private pharmacy benefit management services agreement between Integrated Prescription Management and Hill County Indigent Healthcare. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 4, some very important business. Says discussion action on Hill County Christmas party. Again, we say this every year. Why are we talking about a Christmas party in a courtroom? Because 4 commissioners cannot sit down outside of this courtroom and speak about violating the quorum laws in the state of Texas. So you'll have to bear with us for a second while we have a discussion regarding the Christmas party.
Yeah,
so I understand that Mrs. Commissioner has got some ideas, and she does such a great time in the past. What's going on?
I have no idea. I haven't been informed yet.
Hadn't been informed,
but she's been wanting to know a date and time so that you get everything lined up. And
we can do that. So date and time. Put your calendars up, gentlemen. When can we do a date and time for a Christmas party? What's that?
I'm sorry.
No, that was the quiet part. That ain't supposed to be out loud. Yeah, while we're doing this, I just said so. Yeah. Okay, so, you want to hold October, November, December? Maybe December, that'll work.
22nd.
Let me see who's here, who's not. Well, that doesn't sound bad. How do you guys feel about 22nd? It's Thursday? Do lunch or evening?
Lunch.
Lunch on the 22nd? Do I hear any other, awkward as it is, we need to have this conversation. Robin?
My God, the deal.
When do you guys get off?
21st.
What about lunch on the 20th?
What day is it?
It's Tuesday.
You got court?
Technically, no.
Yeah.
If we do, if I had to be special, right, the answer is no, we won't. We could have court that morning, but 20th at lunch, you guys will be here? Okay. Anybody else got a problem with the 20th? No? Okay. In which case, do I hear a motion to set the Hill County employee Christmas party for the 20th day of December 2022 at the lunch hour?
Make a motion.
Motion to second, we're gonna set it that day and time. We'll have to come back later to discuss more details. We'll get some.
Detail for the meal.
Well, I love the barbecue we've done the last 5 years, but whatever you got.
Well, that's one of the reasons she was trying to get something set, because being close to Christmas, he's gonna start getting busy
I imagine.
and try to get a time set up.
Okay. Has anybody got any ideas for the Christmas meals? Anybody want to cook it for us? Cameron's gonna hand out the budgets here. They worked all weekend on this. Seriously, we were talking about this last night. What was it, 6 o'clock? Yep. I'm fine with Charlie. You can bust it. Yeah. I think it's going up the best of anything you've done.
He does well there.
He does. Well, I have no problem asking Tony's backyard. They can do it for everybody else. On board. Sheriff's office. Is it on? You are part of the county. Your people are invited. No position taken.
I'll check with him, see if the date work for him.
All right, so we have. Yeah, the exhibits buildings where.
Let's only have 14 G in caps to go.
I didn't bring a single one last year.
Mm-hmm.
We win them all this year though, for that.
A couple of years ago, we gave away caps for.
I understand.
Wasn't as many last year.
Okay, so what we have is a motion and a second, I understand, to hold the annual employee Christmas party on the. Let's say the 20th day of December 2022 at the lunch hour, and you Paul start trying to make arrangements for the meal. All right, that's the motion. Is there any other discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 5 is discussion action on variances. We have requested a variance, Mr. Rusty Simmons. And this is, well, Rusty, why don't you get up and give us a briefing on what you got here real quick?
We all still holding our plan.
I don't have that for me, get your variance. So there's actually 2 variances here, that Mr. Simmons is asking for.
So the first variance, in your regulations, when we did Hill Creek, y'all had a 1,500-foot cul-de-sac length.
Yeah.
So this variance is requesting to allow us to do 2,000 feet, that first cul-de-sac 90-degree turn. The second road there to the next cul-de-sac is right at 1,800 feet. And then the last one is within the 1,500. So instead of putting other little cul-de-sacs in, was looking for a variant, design this like we pre-approved the plat. The preliminary plat was approved.
The cul-de-sac does not bother me in the least. That's not a problem for me. You know, we put this in here into our plans so that we have a place to turn fire and apparatus around. Forgive me, how wide is the street again?
It's going to be 20 paving at the end.
20 wide.
So as long as nobody's parked on the street, that would be sufficient to clean the thing around. You know, that's my only concern, 20 foot wide, can you get a fire apparatus and ambulance, as long as no park on the street?
Make a record, accepted.
There's a motion to accept it. Is there a second?
My only problem with these variances that we're doing is we're throwing out. We've got the precedent. Just come in and ask and we'll do, you know.
So
That's
what
what I'm
was
worried
the
about.
problem with the original?
So the variant, okay, so subdivision will call for a cul-de-sac every 1,500 feet, maximum 1,500 feet. That's based upon fire code, which we've not formally adopted, but it's general practice. To my understanding, I build these every day, we're talking with our surveyor, about learning. And what they're asking is to extend this, you know, a third more. Instead of putting that cul-de-sac in, you know, middle where they have to 1,500 feet areas, and the other one's about 300 feet down.
What's our liability?
idea is to get emergency vehicles.
Correct.
Right.
School buses, whatever.
What's our?
You know, you asked a question about liability. I don't know that we have much liability here. But again, I'm not in favor of it myself. That's the reason I did the second motion. I kind of follow on Mr. Hawkins on the variances that they're few and far between that I feel that I need to do. So, but again, there is a motion on this table. Is there a second to it? Here's no second. The motion dies for lack of second. Let's move on to your second variance.
All right, so just going back, so this preliminary plat has been approved as drawn, because we didn't discuss this going into the.
Correct.
All right, so what y'all asking is to pull this cul-de-sac back 500 feet,
Yes, sir.
put a curve in the road. Another cul-de-sac at 1,500 feet from that one,
We done?
and then another curve in the road, and then on to the end. All right. Second variance
Yes.
is for a chip seal road paving to be done on this project, similar to we did at Hill Creek Ranch. This project will be a private roads. It'll have a POA. Each lot, 66 lots, will be paying in $600 a year. So they'll be in charge of their maintenance. The county will never take these roads over. Just want to confirm that we can do a chip seal road on this project.
What kind of chips are you guys looking at?
It'll be a 2 or 3 layer. They put in like the small rock, do another coat, put another roll it.
What's the sub base really is, you know, the major concern is that Jesse Ince always points out to us in those meetings, you know,
Right.
what's the sub base construction?
So we just got our reports back. We got about 6 inches of topsoil and weathered lime rock. So no lime on our subgrade. They're just expecting us to rough through the lime rock we're gonna have as a subgrade. And then compact that and then put our 6 inches of limestone on top of it.
6 inches compacted limestone or 6 inches for compaction?
Compaction. So we'll go 22 foot wide on the limestone and 20 foot on chip seal. So there'll be a foot of limestone outside the chip seal. Over the life of this project, 10 years, this community will collect close to $400,000 in maintenance for roads, mowing. So they will be self-sufficient into the future.
We don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, we're gonna do it one way or the other. Okay. And I understand what you're saying, so I'm not arguing with you about it, I'm just saying, I know subdivision, we want to take it in over the years, Mr. Simmons, we're good about putting POA restrictions and everything that's come before us, he's done. You know, my concerns with this are, again, we told everybody a while back, we won't do this again. And I'm upfront with you about that when they came in the office. I have issues deviating from what we said we were going to do on this simply because I hope we never take this from them, but there's a good chance we don't. It's just the number of people out there, new commissioner 20 years down the road, you know, could it become a liability?
Right.
And I think you've done some very nice work in this county, and what I've seen so far, I'm very impressed. But again, I can't find myself in favor of this variance. The commissioners are own them to make their choice on it.
If the county were to take this over in the future, it being a chip seal road instead of an asphalt road would be easier for the county to maintain, because I do believe y'all set up to do chip seal type maintenance.
Currently, we are, for 10 years down the road, we better be set up to do asphalt maintenance. That's-
Depends on how much it falls apart between that 5 and 10 years.
Well, that's the big thing.
That's the thing.
The reason I asked about the underbase, you know, the subsurface, because that's what's really gonna dictate whether that road's gonna hold up or not. Yeah, if you just put 2 inches of asphalt on black dirt, it ain't gonna do nothing. Chip seal lasts just as long as that, but if you build the underlay, it might shoot.
But this is also gonna be inspected during construction. So Jesse will be out there, we'll do our subgrade density test. I really feel like this chip seal road's gonna hold up over time, plus with the,
And I have to tell you, gentlemen, Jesse is in favor of 3/4 chip seal. That's something he thinks the same way with Mr. Simmons, and he was our surveyor engineer, and I'd be remiss if I did not pass that along to you.
Well, this is also a mile and a half, 2 hours of gravel, miles of gravel road before you get to it.
That's
It's not like they're coming off of a paved road.
Yeah.
It's just a narrow gravel road.
I have no problems with it, as long as we're not over involved in the accepting it into the county road.
So you're looking at 2/4 chip seal or 3/4 chip seal?
I'd say 3,
Is that your motion?
make that motion.
A second.
There's a motion and a second to approve a variance to install 3/4 chip steel instead of the 2 inches of asphalt to it. Is there any further discussion on it? I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. All against? Nay? Any abstentions?
We made everybody else do 2 inches of asphalt.
Correct.
It's gonna come back.
I'm just telling you, we're fixing catching.
That's the reason I voted against it just now. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna vote no.
Okay, you didn't vote in front of you, voted against it, so it's 3-2. We got 3-4, 2 against. All right.
This is gonna cause us a problem.
I think you're right.
Can I redo my, yeah.
We've taken the motion. You want to
Well,
make?
I forgot about that, where we passed that, and
Yeah.
he says 1 or 2 subdivisions over there that were made to do 2 inches asphalt.
And they are.
but what was the density on this subdivision
How many lots was asking?
or lot size?
I don't recall.
I just know that those people are watching.
Because they,
And they made it a point to say,
It should be.
because they.
because they had to go back and redo their whole road. Take the crown out of it. They had to hire you to come back and redo their whole road. Take the crown out of it.
I mean, if this was a higher density project like a 1/4 acre lot subdivision, these are 2 acre lots. I would understand where you're coming from, but with a rural type subdivision, mile down county road, POA in place, I really feel like they're going to be sustainable into the future, taking care of themselves.
I hope that's correct, too, Rusty. I really do. But just our previous experience, I'm not saying with you, previous experience with those subdivisions, correctly, that's what we got that. It has led me to some different conclusions, and I hope you're right, not wrong, because it'll be a lot better on the taxpayer your way than it will be mine. But I find myself not in favor of the variances on this point.
It will cause a problem later on.
Yeah.
It's gonna cause a problem when you this fast.
Well, it just passed, and point that out to everybody. So, the motion that was made was to approve, it passed in a 3-2 vote. Myself, and Commissioner Montgomery being in the negative on this vote. Is there anything else on this subject?
It will never be accepted into the county road maintenance.
That's what he said.
It's on our plat, it's in our CCNRs, so everybody understands that it's purchasing in here, that they are responsible for these roads.
And I can say from previous experience, he does put that language into this. It's not her subdivision. We kind of together, usually ranches that go free.
Feel free to.
There was.
Randy Ring.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I can't think of it. So anyway,
All right, so move the cul-de-sacs
Move the
and
cul-de-sacs.
three-course chip seal.
like you get half what you wanted, Dan. So good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. There you go.
There needs to be one.
Oh. go ahead and get through with
Okay.
Mr. Paul and get that.
Very good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, number 6, discuss and approve bonds. We have bonds from Mr. Marlon Pettis for the Hill County Juvenile Probation Office. And those are the bonds today.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion, is there a second? Motion second to approve bonds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carried. Number 7, observe and record an administrative order setting the annual county recorder, county court recorder, county auditor, and staff. You guys know that we do this every year. The 66th district holds a hearing that was held back in August, and this is the outcome of that. And we were reporting it in public record. I'll make a motion that we observe and record.
Second.
Motion and second to observe and record. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 8, discuss other action proposal for architectural and historical preservation services for Hill County Cell Block Museum. I've been working with the museum board. They're newly reconstituted. They're really active. They're trying to do some good things. Remember Judge Bob McGregor. Judge Bob is the chairman now, and he's kind of leading the charge on some of this. Miss Holly Harris is involved. She's a real go-getter too. So what we've done is the building 10 years ago, back in 2010, I think, we picked up the northeast corner of that building because the building had settled. It's done the same thing on the south side. But this time, instead of just picking it up, back in the 80s, when the museum board first took the building over and started renting this, they put some structural cables in it. I don't know if it comes for plates in the outside cable between the building. Looking at this thing and some of the cracks, I mean, I crawled all over that thing here a while back. We went up in part of the attic. I don't guess anybody's been up since the fire. I saw things I've never seen over there. I really think that we need to get a structural engineer in and look at that building before we do anything. I'm not saying we couldn't lift it up again, but man, I would really want to plan when that's going to happen. So the first people I called, and not the only people I called, but the only people who replied to us and showed up so far are Texas. And they sent a scope of work in, and I'll read it to you. Dear Judge Lewis, architecture planning and historical preservation is pleased to submit our proposal for architectural and historical preservation services for the stabilization of the historic cell block museum in Hillsborough, Texas. The museum was the Hill County Jail, was completed in 1893 by architect W.C. Dotson, who also designed the Hill County Courthouse. The front part of the building served as living quarters for the sheriffs, the rear houses cell blocks, kitchen facilities, and sheriff's office. The museum is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Our scope of services will therefore include an analysis of the existing structure of the jail, exterior envelope evaluation of code issues that should be addressed, and a list of prioritized long-term improvements to the exterior of the building. So they're proposing a structural engineer, and they aren't proposing site survey. They're not proposing environmental. I'm going to read you a list of things they are not proposing: site survey, environmental, commissioning, geotech, registered accessibility specialist, historic paint and finish analysis, cost estimate, MVP, civil engineering, security, and IT. They're not doing any of that. They're just looking at the structural part of this thing. So what their tasks are, so architect will prepare base drawings, generate from build measurements and other provided drawings, complete of as-built drawings. That would be site plan, floor plans, and exterior elevation, something we do not have in that building. If it existed at one time, I can't find it in our records. But this will give us a basic understanding of what we're looking at there, how the building's put together. They'll look at it for local zoning ordinance, building codes that have influence in the future work. That's actually going to lead to including whatever the federal historic register of historic places designation means as well. Architects will conduct a brief historical evaluation of the cell block museum, looking at records, reports, and other records related to the jails, be collected and evaluated. The engineer will provide a structural assessment of the existing building structure, foundations, and roof support assemblies to better understand the scope of needed repairs and any limitations with existing structure. The architects will conduct an exterior evaluation of the jail to identify areas of active or potential deterioration, incorporate previous repairs, life and safety and accessibility code concerns, site conditions that will directly affect the condition of the structure. Crawl space and attic assessments will be conducted where the access is available. They're then going to come back with a stabilization report, and that's going to be based on findings and historical evaluation, exterior assessment. Architects will prepare a list of recommendations for repair and improvements. The recommendations will be ranged by priority of life and safety and code issues, and areas of actual configuration will be identified as most critical. Lower priority items will include those that are considered purely aesthetic or interpretive. So this report they're going to give us will have a project statement and methodology, brief historical summary, building evaluation findings, recommendations, a summary of the recommendations by priority, floor plans, exterior elevations with stabilization notes, appendices of relevant documentation. Architects will provide Hill County with a written report. They'll give us both a printed copy, electronic copy of that report. They expect it to take a month for the existing facility survey and another month for the stabilization report. Their compensation, the existing facility survey, they're $18,000, stabilization report of $10,000, so total of $28,000 they're asking for. There's additional services if we request them, that those can be billed hourly, moving not to at this time. Reimbursable expense necessary to perform the above services will be invoiced. So if they got to make multiple copies for us, which we get a copy machine. Courier, long distance phone and faxing, travel related and mileage. They got to come down multiple times. They're going to bill separately for that. That is the basics of this document. We haven't had to do anything down there for a very long time, for 10 years. We're spending the insurance, we're getting a little stipend each year. There have been repairs made previously outside the county's purview that have now been pointed out to me. And I don't think it's as simple of us going in there and just picking up the side of the building like it was once before. I think we really need to understand what we have in our hands, get somebody that knows these old buildings. The reason I really focused on architects on this one and is they have some experience with that particular type of construction. The wall in the back we know now is called rubber wall construction. There's an inner layer of bricks, an outer layer of bricks, and in between is literally every bit of construction debris in the 1890s that we find in Hillsborough and dumped it in between. That is not something that most of your modern engineers would have any expertise with. The other thing is these guys, architects, know quite a bit about Douglas Dotson and his architectural features. He designed a lot of courthouses. They've rebuilt a lot of those courthouses now. So it's my recommendation for take under consideration at least and hopefully approve this proposal from architects for the sub-appraisal.
The motion.
Second motion, second. Any further discussion?
They're just looking.
Yeah, we're gonna get a report. We're not gonna do any construction at this time. But what I don't have, like for this courthouse, I have a set of architectural plans. Actually, I have some plans to be water fire too, not a lot, but I just don't have anything whatsoever for that building to tell you
What you got?
yeah, I don't know what I've got. I do know when I got in the basement, I got concerns about some stuff I saw. You guys have been in the basement of this building, seen what the construction is, how it's that H beam laid on its side, and then they have the corrugated metal. They've got some of that construction, but it truly appears like one of the supports from one of the beams is missing down there. Onto the floor. Now it's a center beam, it's not holding up a wall in here, but it, I just saw some things down in the basement underneath that building that really get me pause for concern about starting to tweak on it. So I really appreciate you guys would give me the authority to enter into this contract and get a handle on what we've got. So there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Gentlemen, thank you very much. I will get this signed and authorized off today. 96, 2022. Okay, remember. Number 9, discussion or action on the agreement with Point and Pay for Hill County Justice and Peace Precinct 1. Point and Pay is a credit card merchant service provider that we use here in the county. We're using the district card. Went back to the 2019 agreement with them. We're allowed to branch out into other offices, JP1 in Huron. We'd like to change to Point and Pay, get better service out of them, and has asked this court to enter an agreement to allow him to do so.
Make a motion, any agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? I know I'll do that. There you go. Next, discussion action proposal for the district courtroom sound system. Well, show of hands, who's ever been in the district court and realized they can't hear anything? Yeah, okay. I think the audience will participate too. So after the fire or flood, after the fire, we put a sound system in, it just didn't really work like we wanted to. After the flood in 21, we noticed it deteriorated pretty quickly. And so we started at the end of that project, looking for solutions to fix it. We reached out to several different folks, had 3, 4 people come up here at a time. And really had 2 different bids turned in. That's it, Asbel Electronics and Infinity Sound. Infinity Sound are the folks that did the courtroom over there, the county court law courtroom. I'm not a huge fan of how that turned. I'm not saying they did anything wrong, just the timelines were really long and hugely expensive. The other one was Asbel Electronics. Asbel were the folks who put the sound system down in the fairgrounds for us a couple years ago. And I really like the way that turned out. They're clean sound, really clear, they do a lot of other work. And they've got a proposal to go upstairs and finally fix that sound system. And it's a heck of a proposal they've got. And their total price is $26,724. I don't know if how much of this or any of it will be covered by insurance, maybe some small amount, maybe nothing. I don't know. We will ask for sure, but we really need to fix the sound in that room. Asbel did a great job for us down at the sound system at the exhibits building, where we went in with Smith grant to put that in there. It's crystal clear in that big cabin. If they can do it down there, I'm certain they can make it happen upstairs. So I would ask that the court consider the bid from Asbel Electronics to fix that district courtroom sound system once and for all.
Motion.
Yeah, go ahead. Got a motion, second discussion.
I would really like to have the people that use that courtroom go over this proposal with Asbel to make sure that there's not anything left out or something that's in there that doesn't need to be. Maybe the end of the month, try to take some action on it, give it a chance to go over it.
Do you want us to table it then until then? That's Jackson.
Personally, I would like to set that up. with-
Reason I'm asking Tamara, gentlemen, she's been kind of the point person on making phone calls on this, as I understand it. Let's just give you background on what we're working on. So yeah, if you want another month to act on it, sorry, I said on my agenda today.
Maybe move it to the last commissioner's court this month and maybe be able to take some action on it then, but I'd like to give the DA, the district judge, the court reporter, a chance, people that actually use my courtroom.
Okay.
To go over this proposal a little better.
So they haven't had it since August 1st?
But I have, we want to be able to meet with Chris from Iowa to kind of discuss it in detail.
Okay, well, if you ask us to table it, then there's a motion and second on the table. I ask gentlemen, will you rescind your motion and second? I'll make a motion to table this matter. Is there a second to table it? Second motion, second to table. I ask all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We'll put this on our final regular meeting in September. Thank you, Mr. Harrison. I appreciate your work on this too. All right, number 11, discussion or action to purchase a vehicle for information technology department. Gentlemen, there's been discussion during our budget hearings about getting IT a vehicle. If we're going to do it, I prefer to do it in this budget year. Philip has managed to save a considerable sum of money in his contract services by doing things in-house. He has the money in contract services to pay for the vehicle he's proposed. I believe it's 29,700 somewhere in there.
29,600
Something, yeah, for the vehicle that he's proposing. So that's the item of discussion.
Second.
Motion and second for IT, the Information Technology Department to purchase a vehicle. Now, if we get you this puppy, you got to take care of it. I ain't gonna feed it and I ain't gonna clean up after it.
He and I have talked about this. Would you kind of go over your plans, what you're going to store?
So the idea was to keep it at the sheriff's office, not going to worry about anybody breaking into it over there.
Whoa, that's not me personally.
And I'll keep up with, our rotation, will changes.
We need to put a line item on his budget for fuel.
I kind of knew you guys were gonna pass this, and you took the liberty of putting that stuff in there last week. I didn't know you were gonna. You were going to, so.
Well, it's as good as he is with everything else, I'm sure he'll take care of
I
it.
know that you will. I have no worries about that whatsoever, but I have to take care of it. So we're gonna add line items in the budget, which you got in front of you. For fuel, the insurance will populate for that and also repairs. Now, we used to put 1,500 as standard repairs. I think a set of tires now, it's cost $1,500. So that's something we'll talk about in our budget line. But we have a motion and a second for to purchase a vehicle for Information Technology Department from this year's budget out of the contract services line item, or what other lines may be necessary to accomplish this task for an amount under 30. So, you know, I'm not gonna put an amount on that motion because it may be something that comes up and be $2 over and come back to this again. So, all right, in which case I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 12, number 12, number 13 are somewhat related, and I'll go over in just a second. Discuss and approve for Rachel Parker, treasurer elect, to secure a hotel room for the 2023 county county management and risk conference. We're sending her anyway out of this year's budget, trying to get her a head start because she's going to be stepping in for the treasurer when she retires into the year. But we had just reserved a hotel room, and what happened is the folks we had a credit card reserved actually put the charge for the hotel room, charged us for it. So to make it a valid charge, we have to ask for your permission. We're going to send her anyway, but I need to ask you guys if you would please to allow us to secure a hotel room for.
Make a motion.
Motion is second to secure a hotel room, pay for that hotel room out of this year's budget for Rachel Parker, treasurer elect for the 2023 County Management Risk Conference. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Number 13, discuss and approve for Rachel Parker, treasurer elect to attend the 2022 new treasurer seminar. This is a weird deal. So every other elected official, well, I say every other, most everyone I'm aware of, you're not allowed to attend anything until after January 1st when you take office. She's required to attend this. So I think we should be required to be paid for it. We can cause her, we pay for anybody else's that attended it. Now, this will happen in the next fiscal year's budget, but and we will budget accordingly for this. I just want to make sure that we've got the approval to make that expenditure.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Now, that's my understanding is next fiscal year's budget. Is that correct on this? I'm getting a slow nod, yes.
Yes.
I slept once or twice, so not enough, but I did sleep. So, all right. So we have a motion and a second to approve Rachel Parker, treasurer elect, to attend the 2022 new treasurer seminar and pay for whatever trading knowledge needs to happen with that. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Brings us to number 14, discuss and approve road and bridge salary schedule.
So we met a couple of times. The first page that you're looking at, we kind of broke the job categories down and set a pay scale for that category. General labor, no experience, no CDL, just somebody to help in the shop. Same type of classification. With experience, you bump their pay up from $16 to $18. If this shop helper, general labor gets a CDL with notes, they come in with the CDL, no experience, they start out at 18. They come in with the CDL with experience, they start out at 20. Operators. So this kind of is broken up in two different categories. For operator one, if you can drive a motor grader, but that's it. You don't have a CDL, you start out at 20. Same thing, if you can drive a loader, a backhoe, excavator, but you don't know what you're doing on a motor grader, you're still starting out at 20. Operator two, you can run all the equipment, but you do not have your CDL, you start out at 21. And then an operator that can run all equipment and has their CDL starts out at $22.50. And then the foreman's, if you have one on your crew, at $25.25. We found this to be pretty comparable with other counties with our population, which is Cook County and Brown County. Cook County is around $21.59 for all of their employees, no matter what. Brown County has foremen at $26.30, and their classification of employees from $16.83 up to $22.61. So we feel like we fall pretty close in this.
Okay.
The second page just kind of gives you a breakdown of where we are with our current employees and which category they fit in, what they're making right now, and where they would be as of October 1st.
Okay. And this will take care of this. And you had a narrative too that you forwarded to me as well. You want to talk about that narrative real quick, the policy?
I didn't print that out.
Well, I didn't either. So go ahead.
It was basically just to start everybody at October 1 to bring them up to whichever pay scale they fit into. And then October 1 going forward, they will fall into whatever COLA the county approves countywide. So they don't, most of these guys already fit into the operator 3 category. So there's not really any room to move. But a lot of these guys are getting longevity pay too, so we feel like that's kind of a reward for their sticking around and hanging out with Hill County.
And know that these COLA recommendations at the top are simply estimates. We don't know 3%. We just don't.
We
But
just had
that's
to stick something in there.
exactly.
Right, that's just an average, what's kind of been going on.
And what Tamara has forwarded to me, policy blurbs that we can amend the employee payroll policy, amend the employee policy, because we need to do so in writing to reflect this, not just orally. But the basics is, as of October 1st, this is the pay scale for road and bridge, and this is what we're going to stick to going forward. And this is where we're going to hire people in depending upon their structure, just like we would the sheriff department, they have standards, you have to know X, Y, or Z. And that's how we move up or down. So that'll help us get some uniformity, and importantly as well, it'll help show the rest of the county government that we can manage our house in the as well. You know, the round robin of raises that we do around this table for those employees really throws morale. So, because other offices aren't going to do it, but this is, I think, a very competitive pay scale of what we're saying. Obviously, the research is done into it. I appreciate both Commissioner Montgomery and more importantly, well, I've got 2 or 2. I I'm sitting down and talk about it. Thank you, Mr. Hawkins, for their participation in the committee and getting this. Really want to thank Tamara. Tamara was really the driving force in getting these numbers together. I really appreciate it. Ms. Susan, thank you for loaning to us for this process. But
I didn't make a single meeting.
oh man,
Who's called you it?
Thank you for all you.
He said he was running a motor grader or something, but we kept hearing water splash behind him. I don't know what that's all about.
correct. That was what I'm talking about is this is to this in order. We're setting aside considerable sum of money in contingency to fix the rest of the payroll. I just felt that we're going to make faith in everybody. We're going to get something done. We need to get our issues corrected. So, but yeah, we do have a plan. We do finally have in the budget the fund set plan moving forward.
I'm like a motion to accept this good.
Well, this was brought just to, y'all like it, tweak it, do whatever you need to with
Do
it.
y'all want to think about it? Bring it
Yeah,
next week. Take care of it on 13th or
I'm fine with that. I just don't want anybody coming back and saying, well, this is. Yeah, this is all we can come up with. This is for everybody's discussion. I have 2, but I just want y'all
I
to
didn't
get it.
bring the final written policy change for the employee policy. Tamara's board, we heard ideas and I started working on it, but I did not finish it over the weekend. So.
I'm not trying to create any work for her.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she did a great job here, but I mean, if the numbers need to be tweaked or twisted or do whatever.
Yeah, Lisa, you guys probably want to see what I got to say about policy written before you approve as well. Okay, well, what we'll do, I think a great job's been done. Let's just take this under consideration. I'm gonna put it on the 13th agenda for approval.
Sounds good.
Okay, that way, if anybody's got anything to say about it, let's get it out of the way on the 13th. Tackle it then.
Yep.
That's gonna be another one of these agendas on the 13th. Bring your lunch with you. Yeah. Ms. Tammy, thank you very much.
Y'all have changes, I guess, let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Good too.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right. So we've got that. Let's move on to discussing our change, approval change order on Agrilife building. Hey, we got Mr. Cody with us today. Go ahead, Mr. Cody. What do we got on change order? That's not in here. Okay, but
Well, there's 2 listed in the agenda. Is it the next one or?
you got 2. You've got Agrilife and a secure change order for Agrilife. Anyway.
So we have one for Agrilife.
Yeah.
It's for the securities. I don't know if we have one for ICE.
Yeah, no, it got screwed up on our agenda. It got misprint, but go ahead with the Agrilife Security. Let's start with it, because that's what we need to do.
The Agrilife Security is for the addition of 4 cameras, 280 degree, 360 degree, should get full coverage of the outside of that building, as well as all the wiring associated with it, an alarm system, attach the specifications for the interior of the pad.
And by alarm system, we're talking both fire alarm.
This is security.
Security alarm.
So fire alarm will have the needed equipment for the HVAC, but the occupancy is not high enough to require.
Okay,
Full fire alarm.
all right.
So the efforts will match what the architect engineer
Okay, good.
have designed for that. The door and entry security access, all wiring associated with it, as well as all of the data wiring that is listed from the MRP design.
Okay.
So that one company will be taking care of the whole thing.
All right, total cost on that one?
Total cost is $44,856.
Okay. Gentlemen, this is not something that was in the original bid because it wasn't in the original drawings. So we're going back and fixing problems on this deal. Do you anticipate any more change order after this?
We do not.
Yes.
Just real quick. Well, the presentation that we had last week on the system that's in the courthouse that can be expanded to every building.
No, what were we talking
The
about?
one that were the entry door alarm, the motion detection broadcast over the radio system, the upgrade to that system for every building in the county. I think we can.
Yeah, no doubt. So what we're talking about, kind of apples and oranges, but there is some crossover here. So what we're talking about in the courthouse was the radio alarm system. We changed radios over because it goes uses our radio system. We go from the analog digital now to 800. We're going to change that in terms. What we're talking here is they didn't include in the original architect drawings any of the data cabling in that building at all, and no security system whatsoever. I think really the door pass is going to piggyback on the Covington Street system, as I understand it, is hopefully what we're going to use in this building. It's in the cloud and it's expandable. So our goal is ultimately to all the buildings have a single pass card. And really, my goal at some point, I haven't discussed this with Tom yet, is to print as an employee ID on that pass card. And so you'll have your picture, your employee ID. Your card will allow you to go where you're allowed to go. If you're allowed access to do everything, like maybe Lucille would be, she would maintenance. Or if you only need access to the courthouse or only need access to Covington Street. That gives us a better ability to gauge who has been in and out of those buildings, increase the security in those buildings. And quite frankly, at a time when bad things could happen, and God knows it's too often in this world, tell the sheriff department exactly who's in that building when they have to breach it. You know, that's not the part I like to talk about. But there's a lot of benefits to that system. So now, what are you talking about? Since the security system on the doors, how is that going to operate? Do you know off the top of your head?
It will operate exactly like the Covington system.
Okay.
So this is an extension of that. This is the same contractor that we doing the install, same design principles. Everything would go under the services provided for Covington, and it would be added as you grow.
Cloud-based solution or?
What's that?
The security system, is it a cloud-based solution?
Yes.
It is? Okay. So that's the other thing we're going to talk about in regards to this is how that may play. Good question. We're looking at upgrading the alarm system in the courthouse too, because the radio upgrade we're going to have to do at some point. We're just filling out different avenues right now, what that's going to look like and what it's going to cost. There's a cloud-based solution from individual we've done business with for a number of years. But again, they've already committed to something else some time back. I need to look at that, what that looks like on this as well.
Architect, no, they
Why didn't
It's incredible. It's bad. I don't sit here and bash somebody, but the number of things that we had to catch were correct. But they don't check the beams in the wrong place, those in the wrong place. I mean, foundational issues, basic structural issues. I can only imagine what happened. We had an iron outside engineer look at it, and we built that thing and built. We'd get in trouble here. So I'm glad you guys went this route. I appreciate it. Anyway, that is the change order before us. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
recommend we approve it.
Okay, motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second to approve the change in the Agrilife Extension Building for the security at Agrilife Building. Any further discussion? If not,
How will this be paid up front like we did the conditioning, or this will just be billed over time?
This will be a very quick install, so by the time it's completed,
October?
in the next 30 days, I'll have it billed for 100%.
Okay, so it'll fall in FY 23.
But it will probably fall into our next one cycle for the project.
But have they already, you built for last month already, this? I was trying to anticipate when that bill's gonna show up, usually that goes about the beginning of the second week of the month, so we get bills show up. So, yeah, I think we paid out FY 23 or coming out of 22.
Well, excuse me, I don't know, are we paying, are we paying the chemistry, or we pass, or who are we paying
On the security, the chemistry,
the chemistry?
on the security.
Right, we just got their $310,000 check, and we have a October payment of $1 million.
Yes.
It's our scheduled payment.
Schedule.
Okay, thank you, John.
All right, thank you very much. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Gentlemen, there's a typographical error on our agenda that I did not catch until this morning. And there's a second change order for the Covington building, but since I put Agrilife on here, I messed that up. So I need to go back and fix that. We're gonna have a meeting next Tuesday. How bad is that gonna throw us off? You guys gotta wait till next Tuesday on Covington Street. Change order.
Well, that's not actually a change order. That is we're going out of contingency. That's just a reallocation of funds.
That's right. We discussed that last week. So, hang on. See what authority that is. Well, I don't have a place on here to give you a presentation on it, but I'll give you a general presentation at a later date. We'll put the Covington contract together. We've already seen the problem with Agrilife, and a much more comprehensive contract with them. There is $100,000 contingency in that, so they don't have to keep coming back asking for a change order. The little thing we've got going on is going to set that contingency. We'll talk about that. So, all right, thank you very much.
When do they? Date for the Agrilife?
Agrilife, we're still looking at just around Thanksgiving, maybe a little after.
That is the goal.
Yeah, if the weather holds, the flat work was proceeding last week and starting this. I think they finished up the rock over there.
Yes.
Yes, Friday. I think they finished it. I'm not.
Should have been right around right.
Yeah, I'm not certain it's 100% finished, but it looked like it was pretty close. Maybe some minor touch-ups. The electricians moved in. They'll get this stuff wired. After the wiring goes in, the spray foam insulation goes in. Obviously, the framing's already done inside. I think really the construction schedule is going to be dependent on how the weather does and the flat work on the outside. I know they've hired Mr. Grayson to do some of that work. He does fine work, and he's been going at that. There's been a good deal of progress in the last couple of weeks in the flat work, so I think it's heading in the right direction.
It is.
So good deal. All right, well, gentlemen, we've been getting a lot of calls on number 17, discussing our actual burn ban. So anything else we can? No, sir. Hang on, we'll talk to you after this. I'll catch you. Discussion action on burn ban. So discussion action on burn ban. We put a burn ban on. This burn ban is to expire on the 20th of this month. 2 weeks ago when we met, we talked about this a little bit. There was a lot of dry fuel out there. What a difference 2 weeks has made in Hill County. It's green, guys. I don't have any problems with burning at this point. We do have Mr. King going to the ESD #1 here. Mr. Goins, your concerns, what do you think about a burn ban?
Well, I got three inches, solid 3 inches the other day. I don't know about the rest of the county, but I'm here, it's wet all over. We're gonna drop it soon anyway. According to Hill County rules, it's rain, we perfect.
No. That's the issue. I hate these burn bans. I'll say it out loud. I hate burn bans because they're actually doing some pain.
Where we are and everything else today, I have no problem removing it.
Okay. I see our Whitney, police chief, are you acting in the capacity of fire as well? Or
Back and forth.
you got a recommendation for us? No effects? No problem. Good deal. Good deal. Tom, your thoughts on this?
Well, the burn ban was put in under disaster with certain conditions. Those conditions definitely not exist. The key spot index this morning was 319. Well below the standard. So I feel like it just makes sense just to go ahead and take it off.
Okay.
Second.
Commissioner Montgomery, second from Commissioner Hawkins. We have a motion and a second to lift the burn ban or repeal the burn ban is the word I should use. Repeal the burn ban. Lift it, I lift nothing. All right, so we have a motion and a second to repeal the burn ban. This date, it would be effective immediately upon our vote. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstention, motion carries. Gentlemen, I don't think we have a need for number 18 now, and 19 as well. I have another error on this agenda, which I should have caught, and that is there is not a budget workshop. If you gentlemen want me to, we can still call a budget workshop on Friday to do so, but you will notice on this budget. And I would kind of like to do that if everybody's got Friday morning free. We didn't know how to get this out. Mrs. Swilling literally worked over the weekend a considerable amount. Tamara was involved in this, but you guys have in front of you a proposed budget. And I want you guys to start looking at this thing. Is there any objection if I call a budget workshop Friday morning to discuss this?
I will be, pick up my mother-in-law.
You got duty, you gotta do.
I will be out of town.
I won't be anybody here. Okay.
No, we'll be here. We'll take care.
No,
Well, here's, you at least have this in front of you. Please go through it, look through it, fine tooth comb. Everything you talk about, what we think is represented at this point, we wanted to get this out, but you guys hadn't had a hard copy. That doesn't mean work hasn't been going on. It's just a different way we're doing things with this new software. Both Susan and Tamara really learned this new system and bringing me along into it recently. There's copious amount of information in here, and there will actually even be more information in this with some charts and graphs. We think at this moment, we think it works by the time we do the final review. But I wanted everybody to have a chance to review this before we go forward with it on next Tuesday.
that's the prettiest.
That Monday meeting, just to go.
You guys want to do that? We can. I'm all for it.
Okay,
I think we ought to. I mean,
that's the prettiest budget that they've,
yeah.
that's pretty, y'all.
I'm not trying to get back to work with you, but every year you've got hard copy handouts of this well in advance of this. We had the proposed budget, but you know, we'd update those budgets going forward. We haven't been able to learn the new system. There are a couple things to pull across. I would really like to call a Monday morning meeting if you guys allow me to. 8:30 work for everybody, or you need 9 o'clock?
Monday.
Yeah, Monday, you need 9 o'clock or 8:30?
8:30.
8:30.
8:30 Monday. Okay, so we're gonna have a meeting on 8:30 Monday. It'll have budget workshop, and item number 2, any action needed from budget workshop. So those will be the 2 issues we got on there. I'm not gonna put a bunch of other stuff on there. Looking at you, Ron. Not gonna put anything else on there. All right, so good deal. Yes, sir. No, okay, we'll leave you maybe some. We like you. You can come look at it here in a second. Cool. And we will I will print off copies of this. Any elected official, obviously, that wants to see this before it goes before, it's your right to do so. So I will Susan may have a copy for you there.
Yeah.
All right. That being said,
Make a motion adjourned.
motion. Second. Stand adjourned. Thank you.